Hey, this is Max Alper, aka Parrotsky, and you are listening to Group Critique Fight Club.
The United States highway superstructure terraforms the new Christ out of the blood-soaked earth. The multicultural interfaith center of America blooms into a primordial stew of collective thanksgiving.
Yo, what the
Each
fuck?
Toyota will live 2,000 years.
Oh my
I
god.
wake up to a California acid sunset. The smog-caused phenomenon carries the taste of a manufactured biblical war. I want to spend as much time as I can outside in the last years of hospitable sunlight.
That's facts, man. That's facts. You have been listening to 011668, the creator of Burial Sade, and recently of Burial Sade 2. We listened to all of Burial Sade just now and have just started on the LP Prius. 01168, go to their website specifically. I mean, they have social media and stuff, but their website is it's a true multimedia art project and very much based on the in the web format as one of those mediums. They really do a great job turning website into object or just work of art. But it gives a good rundown on the various projects that they're up to. And I was very much considering getting one of their, Hype Beast fashion edition of one t-shirts. A Burial Sade shirt, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, some wild shit to start us out this evening. Welcome back. Group Critique Fight Club Mondays out here. Listen to tunes. No real housekeeping this week. Hope everybody is drinking water and staying out of that dang heat. Whether you're in the UK or France or anywhere in the United States at this current time, it seems. We got the monthly project, as you know. Go check it out on the Discord. Joseph Allred joining us for Monday in 3 weeks from now. Is that right? On the 20th, right? Is that what I said? Is it the 20th or the 27th? Or am I looking at the wrong fucking month? What month am I looking at? Was it the 20th? You tell me. No. July 20th, yeah. July 20th. Get in there. Field performance. American guitar legend Joseph Allred joining us for that. We have some tracks. I'm just getting Maya's track added here before we begin. Boobie-doo-doo. Yeah, the project with Joseph is going to be fucking sick. I am stoked for that as well. Joseph and I might be doing some sort of remote collaboration of sorts based on our shared love of field recording and gospel music. Though I feel like a total fucking poser making any sort of southern inflected American music in the presence of Sir Joseph Allred, but alas, maybe something in the future. Too many things, too many fires burning right now. Good things musically. Always a good problem to have. Just remember to finish your work. All right, what do we got? Getting into it once again. Shout outs to the homies at Tape Trade, holding us down, supporting us in browser, supporting the stream. Also allowing me to throw our our guest practitioners every month a little bit of scratch for their time. So thank you so much to Tape Trade for supporting us and our Group Critique Fight Club activities as we expand further. Been genuinely using Tape Trade now for my press kit links, my private links. We've talked about on the Sunday stream the art of the electronic press kit, and one of those tools that you need to utilize when making an EPK is some sort of private streaming service that allows you to play it in browser of high quality, as well as download, and to check out the visual assets as well if you got them. And so Tape Trade has been an absolutely wonderful tool for allowing me to do that. Haven't announced it yet, but got something coming out in October that I'm very excited for. And I very much used my Tape Trade service to provide the private links to those that I pitched for it. And it worked, baby. And it worked. All because of Tape Trade. No, not just all because of Tape Trade, but fantastic service that I genuinely use. We got a link in the show notes when I post this tomorrow morning after the stream, if you haven't signed up for them for a free trial. Shout outs to them, worker owned, no big data, no big tech, people doing it for the right reasons, It's hard out there in the tech world finding folks you can trust, and so it's refreshing to see, even amongst their competitors, people taking some evil money to be music file sharing services. Not these guys. Shout out to Tape Trade. Once again, holding us down. Okie dokie. Who do we got up first? We got a track from Miss B, aka Machine Music, or is it Musique Machine? Sorry, Musique Machine. And they have written to us on the Discord a little preface. Sending this in for tonight. Tried a different approach of writing lyrics and vocal parts before touching a sequencer. Lyrics are a word collage from 1960s book on self-hypnotism that have been reconstructed to be about yearning, LOL. In terms of feedback, this was just a live rip of instruments off my mixer. So a stereo rip. I'm still going to come back and flesh out the melodic lines a bit. Vocals were an overdub that I processed with some plugins for reference. But I'm curious if you think structure-wise I should go for this kind of shorter extended verse and outro hook and keep it a tighter, shorter song, lovingly referred to as a nut buster. Or should I split up the verse into two and extend the whole track? Okay, so question not on just on form, but specifically in regards to duration. Okay, Hypnotized, Musique Machine. Let's go. All right. Sorry for the air conditioner right by the microphone, but 90 fucking degrees out there. All right. Musique Machine with Hypnotized here. Questions about duration specifically. I know this is just the beginning of things. I think that, like, just first and foremost, there just needs to be more development, dynamically, in the very least. Like, we don't necessarily need like a whole B section, new chord progression and things like that, but like, I think there should be like a hard like on of some other sound that like escalates the dynamics further. You know what I mean? I mean, I could imagine this like if we have ba just kind of as our main chord that's really just kind of revolving around that, even just like changing to a ba, like a lower sixth below that or something like that, as just kind of like even just a B section, even just like an instrumental counter section to the main sort of vocals going on here. Something to just like be like, if we're here right now, this is like a medium dynamics the entire time. Something to really just like bring us up to 95%, even briefly, before bringing us back to our verse here, I think this could be a nut buster, as you said. I think this could be a short and sweet song, but it should get to it earlier. I think it was about a minute, maybe a little bit less, before the vocals came in on this. I think it should have, like, I don't think it really needs to justify a long intro on this. I think this should really be, like, quick and then straight to the point verses on this, and then continuing on and developing a dynamic, I think that you could maintain basically the same structure here and just start it a little bit earlier, but otherwise, like, I think it would, it's already, it's about 3 minutes right now. It really is like 3 minutes long right now. If you were to get rid of much of that intro and make it more closer to 2 minutes, but maintaining the structure of your verses, I think it would be pretty strong, Also imagining this faster. I don't know if anybody else is feeling it, maybe like 15 BPM faster. If it's what is it sounding right now? I gotta get it fresh in my head one more time. Just exactly the tempo right here. Da, da. I was even faster what I was imagining. Do da 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 da. I'm imagining do bad do bad do bad bad bad. Just like, even in that case, that if it was faster, then you wouldn't necessarily need to cut much of the intro, because everything would just be more condensed, because it would just be a quicker song. Yeah, a couple of those ideas to think about there. I think that ultimately the intro could be cut back slightly, regardless of tempo, but maintaining the rest of the structure as is, I think, would be the move. And then just finding ways of developing within that structure further. Extending it out just for, even if it's just like the same progression. Here's the part where I sing, and then when I'm not singing, I do something, in classic no-wave style, thinking about like James Chance, who would basically be doing like soul and funk informed noise music, where there would be like full big verse, and that's just like the whole groove the entire time, and then he sings his verse, and then when he's not doing his verse, he just goes skronking on the saxophone, just like total freak out noise, free improv going on there, and besides that, it's just like hyper repetitive takes on like a sort of distilled funky soul music, with this extra just like explosion on the off verses moments. You know what I mean? Call them B sections. We should have something explosive on the off when you're not singing, whether that's a proper B section or just extending out those sections and adding something that's just like raising up in the ante dynamically, that would be my suggestion there. Looking at people's comments here. Structure is working for me right now. It feels whole. Would love to see how far you can push the dynamic range at this length. Yeah, for sure. Maya saying, thinking a beat switch. You're saying, you're so right. Was listening now and was just waiting for the vocals to hit. Another idea is a melodic switch. Very early phase on this demo with the composition, so I'm thrilled with all this feedback. Yeah, I think you should just get noisier with this. Like, you're not trying to go for like melodic singing here. You're going for this classic, and I've, as you've done, this sort of pouty barking, it's not screaming, but it's not melodic, rapping. I don't know. But in a classic new wave and Italo disco style of doing the sort of apathetic female vocal sort of delivery without giving anything, and I think like having that as like a flat affect is totally great on the vocal delivery, which is why like having something dynamically to counter that when you're not singing would be a cool contrast, a nice dichotomy, Dynamics are important, everybody. Treat your electronic instruments like you treat your acoustic instruments. Play them at varying degrees of intensity. The Go Girl, give us nothing treatment. Yes, exactly. Give us nothing. Fantastic. Good stuff. Thank you, Musique Machine. Who do we got? We got Karim in the building. Version 2 from an earlier today in private lesson, which I heard, but none of y'all. Wet music tool track development is in full swing. Okay. That's the English language to somebody. To me. Maybe not to everybody, but it is to me. Let's check this one out. Blurry version 2. Yeah, we're going to have to run that one back. The jaw vibe's off the charts. What is there even to say? It's a quick one anyways. Yep. Yep. Lovely, lovely stuff. Very excited to see where this part of the project goes. Really, really lovely stuff. There's much to say here, and Karim and you and I have talked about this before, but the universality of dub and sound system music in general. There's kind of the origins of two sides of it, from one side being the more academic-y, researchy, sound art, electroacoustic, high art world of this with, musique concrète and acousmatic stuff. The French mostly, the Germans as well, some New Yorkers and Brits and Dutch as well, but of the institutions, the Eurocentric Western institutions, in the mid 20th century, oftentimes coinciding with many countercultural movements happening within still intellectual Western movements, like student movements and the countercultural movements of Paris and San Francisco and New York specifically in the 1960s. That's one side of this. From we don't call it dub, and we don't call it sound system culture. We call it musique concrète and acousmatic activations, or acousmatic culture, acousmatic music. We call it that. And then on the other side, directly and contemporary of that, are the Jamaicans and the West Indians, specifically in the Caribbean, and the development of dub and sound system culture. Dub being the act of the producer utilizing mostly tape echo and reverb, analog outboard gear, obviously, and the mixing console as the ability to literally remix, but truly it goes beyond that. It recompositions of what is normally hold on. Gotta mute this shit here. I'm trying to open up something here. What is normally dub music tends to be of reggae variety, but ultimately the theories being applied specifically by the producer, it's the foundations for pretty much all electronic pop music as we know it. What happened? Where'd my thingy go? There it goes. So the idea that Lee Scratch Perry and King Tubby and Sly and Robbie and folks like that, and that's really just the OGs of this conversation. But these folks were creating, in the first sense of pop music, danceable electronic music and otherwise, remixes, but also putting front and foremost the producer as the artist, and as the producer and technologist as the artist, both in the studio and on stage as well. Because what dub music often led to was the development of dub plates, individual, we've talked about this before, in edition of one, lathe cut records that would be played by a specific sound system. And this is referring to not only the speakers, the development of custom-made speaker cabinets and amps and things like that, but also a collective of selectors and DJs and MCs, and it quite literally was the godfather to hip hop in that way. The utilization of both selectors on turntables, and in Jamaica they call them toasters, like people that would toast, do some spitting, some rhymes on top of a dub plate, which is the addition of one pressing export of the dub made in studio. So you could see the spawning of electronic music and pop and electronic pop production that sparks from the dub world formally. whether or not they were conscious of each other at their origins, we now understand that there are two sides to this, from both like an experimental electroacoustic composition side as well as a deeply dance and groove and bass music oriented perspective, pop centric perspective of these techniques of riding faders, of loops or repetitive rhythms, and utilizing very limited effects, mostly delays and reverb specifically, but the act of performing the faders, you know, that is the act of dub, and that can be applied to any genre, you know. And contextually speaking, it's also how acousmatic performances are done as well, you know. I think in the 2020s we have that much more intersections, at least knowledge of these intersections, when at times before they might have been much more gate kept, let's say. Just the fact that we have conferences and things in relation to, you know, very heavy dance music and experimental music festivals happening, mostly on the European side of things, for sure, you know. Genuinely European cultural councils care more about music education than a lot of public American education institutions, unfortunately. That's the history of electronic music, especially on the dance side of things. Starting in the States, and then all of the pioneers in the Midwest realizing they can make a lot more money going to Europe, and so they do that. And then you wait a generation or two and everyone thinks it's a European invention when it's not. All this culture that we're talking about here, from the pop-centric perspective, comes from black people in Jamaica specifically. And then the children of that, black people in New York and the Midwest. It's just a fact. Also, let's be for real, you know, black people in the UK as well. The Babylonian Triangle. Also, you got to include New York in that. The Babylonian Square, Jamaica, Ethiopia, London, England, and Brooklyn. I'm embarrassing myself here. Damn, that's a big spider in the corner over there. I'm going to have to kill that thing. You better stay away from me, boy. Creepy ass looking motherfucker. Just up the street from Dive Square, exactly, the Babylonian Triangle. Yeah, realized the live element of it when I really started to dive in. Realized the live performance element of dub. Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes it. That's what makes one producer really distinct from the other, is the choice of live effects and how one does, even just selecting of stems, selecting of channels, you know? I mean, hell, that's what fucking William Basinski's doing in their live performances, just riding faders of stems with like a nice-ass fucking tape delay on stage. That's like literally dub, just applied towards ambient music, you know? Some good stuff. Yo. We gotta make sure that this fucking spider comes within reach so I can kill it, because that's fucking creepy as hell, dude. Where the hell did you come from, bitch? Thank you, Karim. Good stuff. Let me spiel on that shit, too. I'm very much looking forward to expanding on this. Some very good stuff. All right. We got a short one from Maya. Starling theme. I'm assuming a new theme. A new theme from the video game you're working on. Oh, god damn. He's starting to get above me. I'm gonna have to stand up in a second and kill this motherfucker when it's in reach. Let's listen to this 2 times because it's very short. Starling theme. Let's go. I got it. Oh, hell yeah. That's gorgeous. We're going to listen to that 2 more times. 48 seconds long? Yeah, come on. It's meant to be on loop. It's game music. Gorgeous. Very lovely. Very, very nice. Tell us, Maya, in the chat, what part of the game for the score is this? It's titled as Starling theme. So is this the theme of a character specifically? Obviously has this melancholic, very Eric Satie-esque quality to it in its repetition, utilization of obviously the 1/4 chord progression with sevenths. Sounds very nice on the nylon string. But I would love for you to paint the picture for us as to where this would go in the piece itself. It's quite lovely, or in the game itself. It's very nice. You had said in the chat, just setting it up, this was based on a nylon string guitar loop by my homie who's doing the gameplay programming. I did the whole rest of it and sped it up, etc. I think it was initially like a safe zone game start screen. Very nice. Yeah. Very good idea as a safe zone saving menu, some sort of pause, respite from a more intense gameplay, or maybe this is one of those cozy games, as they say. But absolutely, the usage of in ludo musicology, it's been studied, like the usage of ambient music, melancholic music, repetitive, simple, consonant, pretty music, however you want to describe these things, in relation to the save room. It's been documented, and it feels quite necessary. Obviously, more extremely necessary in the context of horror games. Thinking specifically Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Resident Evil specifically with the like banger save rooms. But even more abstract or more moodier and suspenseful, not necessarily straight up horror games like Eco. My favorite save theme from Eco on PS2 specifically. But it's, yes, this again usage of loops that is meant to be like quite literally like a utility of like calm down, like stay here as long as you need, pal. Like this is the safe zone. It's less obvious the need for these sorts of themes in film scoring specifically, because there might just be like downtime from like more intense moments, whether it be horror or suspense, thriller, or action, or whatever the fuck. moments of respite required, right? But it's not actually for you. You're on rails watching fixed media. You're not actually you're not controlling how long you can stay before moving on to the next thing. It's not television in between episodes, right? This is all supposed to happen in one go as a film. When thinking about these themes, video games, obviously the interactive media component of it brings the need for repetitive music to the foreground, obviously, because you never know how long it's going to take you to beat a level, but you never know how long you're going to want to stay in a certain space. Like this encouragement to slow down, also take a breather, required for horror games specifically, but it should be encouraged in most games. Chill out, slow gaming. I'm a full proponent of slow gaming when it comes to this. So this is absolutely a wonderful addition to the tradition of a safe room themes of respite specifically. I think you could expand it out. I'm curious how come you sped it up. Do you need it to be under a certain length duration-wise for the sake of it being looped in the game? Could you make it twice as long and extend maybe not the... I'm not imagining him necessarily playing the guitar slower or slowing down the recording, but more like the space between chords. Imagining doom doom bring down doom doom boom boom. Just like utilizing your tools in the production side of it to create space between chords, and then add more delay, more verb, just ways to create sustain and breath between these things, negative space, thinking about that specifically, if we could turn that into a more like a 2-minute recording that then loops, that was my one thought, is just like, why keep it to a tempo necessarily the whole time? Why not add some impressionism to it? Why not add some longer rests and things like that? Satie would totally do that, I'm not just thinking about gymnopedies and stuff, but like the ability to add some sort of embellishment and let it sustain, let it breathe before moving on. It's pretty run-of-the-mill impressionism in that way. It can maintain the same repetitive nature, and it can ultimately still be a loop, right? But like giving it more time in between the chords, like letting the pads that you've added in there also take some time to expand. I don't want to rush this. If we can make this 1.5 to 2 minutes long before the audio needs to loop, it'd be my one thought here of just expanding in duration. Really, really lovely stuff. We got a whole collection of themes going on here. I don't know when we're gonna be able to see some previews of the game itself, but I'm dying to pair the music that you've created and shared with us so far for this game with some visuals, even some screen grabs and more video grabs and things like that. But let us be your beta testers. Got a lot of people that would love to play this, myself included. Good stuff. Yeah, it's coming. I'm looking forward to hearing it. All right. Well, looks like we don't have too much else on the docket as far as submissions go. That's all right. Speaking of dubs, I'll play a little. Been doing. I did some tape recording on my trip down to Manhattan. This weekend, or rather last Friday, and it went very well. Doing some of this stuff. Hold on, I'm trying to load this up here. Okay, cool. So I did a lot of cassette recording during my travels on trains and bikes. city bikes, things like that, using just a Walkman and like a little clip mic. And I've set up a nice little channel strip, a parallel channel strip here that I'm going to do a live dub of and find some selections, because it's like 90 minutes of recording. I don't plan on keeping all of that or premiering all of that, but I'm just literally going to pick a random spot here, and we'll just we'll just listen to 5 minutes of it. This looks like it's somewhere on the train. Let's check it out. Oh wait, why can't I hear it? Hold on. Looks like I'm getting a fucking feedback loop of some sort. Why can't I hear it? Shh. Oh, it's because the feedback is up all the way. No? Damn. How come I can't hear this? Hold on. That's why. Okay, hold on. Then I have to change the output. Come on, man. Let's see if this works. No? Oh. God damn it. My output's wrong. Bear with me. Oh man, it would suck if I can't get this to work. I'm literally just writing it off of the DAW right now. See if I can get this to work. Computer taking forever. Loving this. Doing it fucking live. I'm not even sharing the screen of it right now. Let's see. Okay. Does this work? Yes. I'm not sure where to take that quite yet. Definitely gonna do some live dubs on that for sure, though. Some sort of I'm gonna probably do a live dub of all 90 minutes and then decide 5-minute excerpts that I'd like to select from that. I don't know, for something. Was offered to do a tape split with a noise artist recently, and I was just like, fuck it, man. Let's just keep it old school. Record it on tape, mixed digitally, exported back to tape. Classic signal flow of things. But yeah, man, the dub. Can't escape it. Can't escape it no matter where you go. It's a fact of electronic music. Anyways, good stuff from everybody. It's alright, we got a quick one today. Hope to see y'all on Sunday. Back at it. Sign up for the Patreon if you have it. Patreon.com/Parrotsky for Sunday sessions, as well as our free sessions on Mondays. Hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from you. Talk to you soon. Stay hydrated. Stay cool. See you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to another edition of Group Critique Fight Club with me, Max Alper, aka Parrotsky. You can sign up for the Patreon at patreon.com/Parrotsky to get access to our Sunday Zoom school on top of the regular live public stream. Public stream takes place every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. All are welcome. And you are listening to the track Atop Alpdog Mountain, Ja Plays Pokemon Go by me.